Welcome, high school football fans, to the Central Indiana Sports Report for this week's Week 2 high school football picks competition. After a fun Week 1 and a healthy competition that Kevin Helfrich is leading again, and we cannot let that happen, guys.
This is Week 1 from a very long season.
I'll try to keep my trash talk at a minimum here tonight.
Yeah, that wouldn't be like you, Kevin. So we like it.
No, that's all right, Kevin. Go ahead and trash talk a little bit, because I believe when that's done real early, I really believe in the thing that karma is a B. So
right. Well, Grant's already dug himself a hole.
So Kevin, 16-4 last week. Then you can't win. Kevin, 16-4 last week. Greg and Michelle, 15-5. Grant, 12-8. And as Kevin pointed out on this week's recap, he's ahead of Grant by 4 because they picked 4 different games that Kevin got all correct.
Don't remind me.
And I was the lone wolf on 5 different picks and went 3-2 in those picks. So I'm in second place. So I spiced things up last week, and it kind of paid off for me. Never paid off for me last year, but it did this last week.
Well, yeah, the 2 biggest ones that paid off for you were your Warren Central and Ben Davis picks. Those were good picks.
That's right.
And Pendleton Heights.
And my philosophy.
Let's not forget that Western pick. They only lost by, 45 or so?
I know.
I also picked Hamilton Heights.
I tried to tell them when we did that Western graduated a lot. And
yes, you did.
So,
I also picked Hamilton Heights, who lost by 30 points as well. So
now I really thought that game would be closer than it was.
And I picked Grant's favorite team, Avon, and they are one of our top games again this week. Want to remind everybody what we do each week, and we pick our 12 local teams, the 8 in the CIC, the 2 in Tipton County, Hamilton Heights, and Tipton, and then we pick the 10 best games from across Indiana, and we start with our 10 local games of the teams that we, on the Action Sports Network, the Tipton Tribune and Elwood Call Leader, and the Central Indiana Sports Report care about the most. And this week we had a little bit of a difficulty picking a game of the week. Weren't a lot of local games of the week that we kind of felt that were worthy of the matchup. Didn't want to go with Frankton Lapel because we expected to be one-sided. We landed on a game that I probably wouldn't have expected to be the game of the week going into last week, but because of their performance against Greenfield Central, we thought the Alexandria Tigers against a very good Sheridan team that's expected to be a factor in Class A would be our game of the week, and we went back and forth a little bit on that, but that should be a really good game, a game I'm going to have my eyes on, Kevin.
Yeah, likewise as well. I think last week kind of caught my attention with Alexandria. I didn't know how good they would be this year, but I think last week's performance has me putting the Tigers as favorite in the CIC.
Man, I think that's a bit of a stretch, but it did definitely raise my eyebrows.
And when you look at what Alexandria did with their quarterback, only a sophomore, Drew Segner, 11 of 17 through the air, 136 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. Not bad for a sophomore quarterback that sat behind Brady Gass as a freshman. And again, Alexandria still has athletes. They've still got guys that are going to be able to get it done on the field.
I've seen so many high school football teams and stuff through the years. It's kind of like a rookie quarterback or a first-year college quarterback. The more film you get on them and on the team, the easier it is to prepare for them. I really believe when you get scrimmage film, you don't really get a true sense of what teams are going to do, because a lot of teams just keep it very vanilla and very basic. Sheridan's going to have film from that Greenfield game. The quarterback, he had a nice performance, but you can come out and you can have a great game, and then maybe the next game it doesn't necessarily go like that, or you put pressure on yourself, or you expect certain things. I like the fact that Alec has this game at home. Sheridan is a perennial power even without Coach Bud right there. I do think Alexandria is better than what I thought they would be, especially at this stage. I'm like Greg though. I don't think we'll put them as lead dog in the CIC. I think that still has to run through Mississinewa, but we'll see.
Both teams are 0-1. As we mentioned, Alexandria, close loss at Greenfield Central, had a chance in the final minutes to win that game. Sheridan, actually a pretty interesting loss too, 42-27 against a good Mechaniquah team. Gave up a lot of yards against a really good quarterback who's going to do that to a lot of teams. And I think the bottom line to this one is it'll be an interesting result, and I'm looking forward to seeing who wins this game and following along with this one. And I'm going to start with the picks this week. And I'm taking the Alexandria Tigers, and I have a feeling it's going to be a sweep, but let's find out.
I'm going to agree with you, Greg. I'm going to take Alexandria here. I think being at home on that new turf, I think really could play a factor. You're fired up, ready to go. Sheridan didn't do anything that really impressed me against Mechaniquah. They're a really good team as well. And Mechaniquah is probably very similarly built compared to Alexandria. I'm going to take Alexandria to knock off Sheridan on Friday.
Well, I guess since I dubbed them the CIC champions already, I can't go against Alexandria. I like Alexandria to win this in a high-scoring contest, like Grant said, on their new turf.
Is it a turf field or is it just new sod?
It's new turf.
Oh, I thought somebody said they weren't getting turf, but that'll be nice for them. Sheridan has played on turf already. They have turf themselves. I'm going to be the lone wolf on this one.
Ooh.
I'll say Sheridan. I think Mechaniquah is a really good team, and have been pretty good up front and on the line, and kind of veteran. And I think that game probably gave Sheridan a lot of film to look at. So I'm going to take Sheridan. I think it will be close, but I'll take the Blackhawks.
Let's hear your wolf howl, Michelle, as the lone wolf. That's excellent. All right, game number 2. This is the game that Grant will be calling on Friday night, and it's Fort Wayne Concordia at Eastbrook, a series that's been rather interesting the last few years, with Eastbrook winning 2 of the 3, Concordia winning the last time that the game was played at Eastbrook. So, Grant, this is a game you're calling. Give us a little background.
Yeah, Eastbrook last week against Huntington North had some things exploited. They're a young team with a young quarterback who backed up Bodie Howe, and he was responsible for the 3 very costly Eastbrook turnovers. He threw 2 interceptions last Friday against Huntington North. He fumbled the ball once, which then ended up getting recovered by Huntington North. It's something here where Eastbrook's got to grow. I haven't had a chance to talk with Jeff Adamson yet. Fort Wayne Concordia is big. They have better athletes. Eastbrook, again, you're going to be hard-pressed to find a better prepared team than Eastbrook, of course, with Jeff Adamson and just what he's done, winning over 300 games, 17 sectional titles, 7 regionals, 4 semi-states, 33 winning seasons, and a few years ago, they named the field after him. So, again, you're going to be hard-pressed to find a more prepared team than Eastbrook, but you can be prepared and all that, and we see teams be successful doing so. But I think the athletes, the athleticism of Fort Wayne Concordia is probably going to be the difference here. Their quarterback, Eli Trent, 9 of 17 last week through the air, 173 yards, 3 touchdowns. And Jacob Boltmeyer, who is a wide receiver, kind of a tight end, I think, 3 catches for 77 yards and a touchdown. Fort Wayne Concordia, I like their chances, but Eastbrook's going to be ready to go. It'll be a good game on Friday.
By the way, Eli Trent ran for 178 yards and 2 touchdowns as well. The score, when you start looking at scores, you kind of have to look at what teams have been the last few years. And when I do that, this to me looks like a Concordia win on the road, guys. I think I'm taking Concordia.
I think they got some serious football teams this year,
Yes,
just based on opening week. And I thought Concordia, like you said, Greg, with their quarterback, I just thought they were kind of impressive last week.
Yeah, it's not a great program in a 2A program, but a pretty good one.
Yes, with good football tradition.
Right.
Yeah, outside of Indianapolis, I think Fort Wayne is the hotbed as well of football players. They produce a lot of great players in the past, and I don't think that's any different this year. And I think it is pretty loaded this year, especially with Carroll. You look at Dwinger with a win last week, and I think Concordia is much improved over last year as well.
Yeah, throw in Adams Central, and you got some really good programs up there. I know it's not Allen County, but it's the Fort Wayne area. All right, Grant, your pick.
I'm going to back you up on this one, Greg. I'm also going to go Concordia. I just think a little more athletic. I don't think they're as well coached as Eastbrook is, but more athletic, more athletes. Last year, Eastbrook went up there and won at Zollner Stadium 41-14. They forced Concordia into a few turnovers. They had a 99-yard pick six to end the first half. They outscored them 28-7 in the second quarter last year. But that's an Eastbrook team that graduated a lot, and I think with the younger guys, I just don't think they'll be able to match up with the experience that Concordia has. I'll take the cadets of Concordia to knock off Eastbrook on Friday.
Kevin, we're going to make it 2 for 2 lone wolves.
Well, this is awful tough for me to go against Coach Addison 2 weeks in a row, especially at home. But
Concordia, but it's not even going to be a squeaker. We'll say this. I have seen Eastbrook a few years when they've lost a big senior class, and then they usually finish maybe right around 500, a game or two above it. I think that's kind of what could happen with Eastbrook this year because they did lose a lot of seniors, and they lost their most dynamic player who accounted for over 80, at least 80% of their scoring probably.
I was not expecting a sweep in that one, but I am expecting a sweep in our next game. It is Lapel at Frankton. Lapel coming off a very impressive win over Hamilton Heights, a team that we expect to be pretty good, 49-19. Frankton, a 48-14 loss at Tipton, and this is a great rivalry game, but not going to be competitive enough to make our game of the week, which it normally would be, and I'm taking the Lapel Bulldogs. I hate picking against the Eagles.
I agree with you, Greg. I'm going to take Lapel as well. Frankton just isn't on that level, unfortunately, that Lapel's on. I know it's tough to want to pick against Frankton, but Lapel's ranked number 2 in 2A for a reason. They'll get it done, I think, with plenty of ease on Friday night.
Kevin, that performance by Lapel on Friday night was awfully impressive.
Well, it really was, but, Owen Knepp stepped into a pretty good position, as a first-year quarterback. With Miller in the backfield, 1,000-yard returning rusher, and you got Kripe who caught 18 touchdown passes. Pretty nice playmakers to throw or hand off to.
I assume you're taking Lapel.
Yeah, Bulldogs by 1,000,000.
Well, guys, I got to actually witness and see Frankton up close and personal last Friday night. And their young quarterback has got some potential. Trey Bennett is a nice size receiver, and Frankton has some nice players, but they're not there yet. And Lapel is, and you talked about offense. Well, every coach talks about Lapel and how they return everybody on defense. And that defense was pretty good last year. And when you return everybody, it's going to be even probably better this year. Unfortunately for Frankton, I believe this will be the second week in a row that they will end the game under a running clock. So, Lapel to win.
Yeah. Rough way to start their season, man. Their schedule to start their years, the last few years, have just been really tough. We have our next game, Elwood at Tri-Central, and somebody has to win. Elwood last week, 21-0 loss to Southern Wells. Wes-Del, 74-0 over Tri-Central in their return to varsity football. And as an old Elwood Panther, I really hope that they win this game, and I'm taking Elwood. Grant?
I agree with you. I'm going to take Elwood. The way I measure it is that They only lost by 21 last week to a bad Southern Wells team, and Tri-Central lost by 74 to probably a not very good Wes-Del team. I'm not going to say they're bad, but they're probably not very good. That to me is kind of the only way to measure it, in my opinion. Somebody's got to win, whether it's 2-0, whether it's a shootout in the end. Both offenses are clicking. I don't expect either of those. I think it'll just be one of those grinded out games. And Elwood needs this, man. They need a win more than ever. It would be a great story after, rallying some of these kids to come out that have never played football to come out and try and give the sport a try. And you've got people's eyeballs on this Elwood team. I think they get their first win on Friday night.
Yeah, I think Elwood, it was a program that won 3 games last year. Let's not forget that. And they only had 3 wins the previous 7 years prior to that. So give me the fighting 18 Panthers. I'll take them over Tri-Central.
And Michelle, it's really hard to believe Elwood and Tri-Central have never played each other in football.
They haven't. A lot of that is because they were in way different conferences when Tri-Central, because Tri-Central did not become a school until 1976. So
correct.
So that has a lot to do with it. Grant, Wes-Del would beat Southern Wells by at least 4 touchdowns. I really believe that. This is a good Wes-Del team. I mean, this is probably Wes-Del's best team in a few years. But that said, I'm going to pick Elwood. 2 reasons. 1, Tri-Central played just 2 games, varsity games last year. They have a bunch of young kids. They're like Elwood. They have a bunch of kids that haven't really played football before. Both Tri-Central and Elwood, brand new kids playing quarterback that never played the position before at any level. Elwood does not have the Jones boy, their leading rusher back last year, who helped them win some of those games. But the reason I'm going to take Elwood is because they do have Connor Wooten and Miles Lobb, 2 experienced junior linemen that I just think that if Sammy and his staff have the right idea, I'd kind of follow the old Bud Wright thing. Philosophy. 3, 4 plays, just execute them. I don't care if it's 3.5 yards, a cloud of dust. Play that field position game. Just run behind those big boys. Don't put the ball in the air very often because that causes turnovers. And that's what Tri-Central did. They got behind the chains early, and I think they tried to do something that their inexperienced quarterback couldn't really do against a pretty decent Wes-Del team, and that's throw the football. And they had a lot of sacks and fumbles. They had a lot of turnovers. I'm going to take it. I actually think this game will go off 4 quarters. And this could literally be a 7-0 game. I think there'll probably be a lot of punts or turnovers, or maybe just a combination of a lot of punts and turnovers. But it's those 2 linemen, the junior linemen, Miles Lobb and Connor Wooten, are why I'm choosing Elwood.
And Michelle and I will have coverage from that game on Michelle's new podcast, Sports and Beyond with Michelle Garmon. So everybody check that out. And then one of the best games of the weekend, the game I have no idea how the picks are going to go in this one. It is 0-1 Oak Hill at 1-0 Norwell. Oak Hill, a tough 28-27 loss to Eastern. Norwell, an impressive 34-27 win over a Mississinewa team that was expected, still probably is expected, to win the CIC this year. And I know that was an impressive win, and I know I picked Oak Hill to win last week, and they didn't, but I am going to double down on Bud Osmond and take the Golden Eagles, Grant.
Man, this is why I wish that Kevin was picking before me, so I could kind of follow his lead here. I really don't know which direction to go with this one either. This one is such a toss-up in my mind, and the only reason being because Norwell beat what's supposed to be a really good Mississinewa team last week. I don't think it was a fluke. I think Norwell's a really good team. They return a lot. They've kind of been in a rebuilding phase the last few seasons. Oak Hill, on the other hand, is younger. I wouldn't say they're young, but they're younger. Jet Ott last week, their quarterback, 6-12 through the air, 114 passing yards. He ran the ball really well. And Dylan Archer, a great week, 67 yards on the ground for 3 touchdowns. I'm going to double down on it too. I'll stick with the old alma mater. I'll pick Oak Hill. My gut tells me Norwell, but my heart tells me Oak Hill. I'll stick with the Golden Eagles to get it done.
Love it.
Well, this is exactly why I like going after Grant, and I'm going to go with Norwell, and here's my reasoning. Last year, Norwell pretty much controlled that game at Oak Hill. Yes, they ended up losing in the end, but this is a younger, more experienced team now, Norwell, and they're tired of losing 3 straight losing seasons. That's a proud program. I think it's going to be tough for Oak Hill to go on the road and win. As much as I want Oak Hill to win, especially since the coach Osmond only lives a street over. Hope he's not listening. I'm going with Norwell.
Well, Kevin, I'm going to join you. I'm going with Norwell. Grant, my gut tells me Norwell too. I don't have any allegiance to Oak Hill, so I'm totally able to follow my gut and go with Norwell. Norwell has had good teams in the past. I remember one year it was a team Tipton beating the regionals, so Norwell's pretty good.
Yeah, I think I might regret that one, but I just have a feeling that Oak Hill's going to win that game, and I have a feeling that they're going to surprise you, and they better, because I'm winning this game this year. Our next game is Madison-Grant at Southwood. Not an overly impressive opening game by Madison-Grant. A win over a Belmont team that hasn't won in a long time, and they trailed at halftime. Even worse performance by Southwood. So, Madison-Grant at Southwood, I'm expecting a Madison-Grant sweep, but maybe I'll be wrong. Give me the Argyles.
I'll back you up here again, Greg. I'll take Madison-Grant. I know not overly impressive beating Belmont last week, who had lost 49 straight going into that game, and Belmont had the lead at halftime. But I'll pick Madison-Grant. I know that Southwood, under the new regime of Bud Wright, I still like Madison-Grant in this game to get it done nonetheless.
I like the Argyles as well. What I'm interested to see, though, is how much can they improve offensively. I thought that was a pretty meager week 1 for them against a Belmont team that has not been good. But I think Madison-Grant wins this rather comfortably.
I agree. Madison-Grant. I'm taking Madison-Grant, and they could have had a down first week because the longtime great coach Mike Toll always used to say it's hard when you're coaching 15, 16, 17-year-old kids. They see Belmont has not won in a long time. They think it's going to be a cakewalk, and it turns out not to be, and it serves to be a good wake-up call for the team. So I think Madison-Grant will be much better this week and will win.
Yeah, I think that Madison-Grant team's going to be better than that first week looked as well. And we have 0-1 Mississinewa at 0-1 Marion. Not a good week for either one last week, but a really bad week for Marion. It does not look like it's going to be a great year for the Giants. Give me Mississinewa.
Yeah, Mississinewa, and it will not be a close game.
Levi Crandall, 3 touchdowns, Indians by at least 2 scores.
Mississinewa.
And then we go to Blackford, where it'll be Wes-Del at Blackford. As we mentioned, Wes-Del a 74-0 winner over Tri-Central. Blackford last week a 55-6 loser against rival Jay County. Wes-Del easy, guys.
I'm going to pick the Bruins in this one. I know that both programs are kind of struggling here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to switch it. I'm going to take Wes-Del. I want to go back to what Michelle said earlier. I wasn't thinking here. I'm going to actually take Wes-Del to beat Blackford. Again, this is probably one of their best teams in a long time. Again, they're probably not on the same level as some of the other teams, maybe not even like an Oak Hill level, for example, but still probably a good team for Wes-Del standards. So I think they beat Blackford on Friday night.
Yeah, I like Wes-Del as well. They'll move to 2-0, and hopefully Blackford can put some more points on the board than they did last week.
It's going to be Wes-Del. It is a clean sweep. You know, Blackford, hopefully they can right the ship and get back to what they were a long time ago, or at least become a really competitive team. So, but yeah. I believe the Warriors will roll.
Sad what's happened to both Elwood and Blackford, who in my childhood were playing for championship. And now we move from the Central Indiana Conference to the Hoosier Conference, where we have the Tipton Blue Devils, an impressive 48-14 win over Frankton, and it wasn't that close. At Manchester, who took a 27-14 loss to a Northwestern team, I think is going to be pretty good coming up here in the second segment. So might be a trickier game than we might be expecting. I don't think it's going to be a complete blowout, and we'll start with Michelle on this one. Michelle, I had Tipton ranked 9th in my Class 2A poll this week. Your thoughts on that and your pick? I'm taking the Blue Devils.
Tipton, Quintal looked very good last week. You know, he looked like a football coach's son at quarterback who's beginning his third year behind center, and he's just a junior. 11-14 for 275 yards and 6 touchdowns. Now, it helps when you have a receiver like Dakota Garmon. Yes, he is a distant cousin of mine, but there's no bias in that. He's earned his accolades. He had 5 catches for 159 yards and 4 touchdowns, and that was all in the first half, guys. He didn't see a pass thrown his way in the second half. In fact, Toll only threw 1 pass in the second half. It was his 6th touchdown pass of the night, and it wasn't a bomb. It was a short pass that Zach Emberton turned into a touchdown. But Garmon, Greg saw the film. We ran it on the podcast. That first catch he made, he went up, kind of a contested catch in end zone. I think he showed in that play why Coach Aaron Toll is so high on his senior wide receiver and really believes he can be an Indiana North All-Star. And Aaron doesn't go out on the limb like that very often early in the season. But he's also got speed. And I mean, he can get by, and he's going to draw double coverage and stuff. And Tipton has other receivers and other speedy kids that they can take advantage of it. They also can take advantage of Zane Durham, a 6'2" running back whose dad was one of Tipton's really good offensive guards and is on the staff. And his uncle Brett was a running back defensive end. He played college football at Valpo. Zane Durham gives them an extra threat, running the ball, receiving the ball. That 3-headed monster is why I'm going to pick the Blue Devils to win on the road at Manchester this week.
I'll pick Tipton.
We have a Garmon. Tipton has a Garmon. Give me the Blue Devils all night long.
That's right. And that Toll to Garmon connection always does something special. And our second game in the Hoosier Conference is a team I'm guessing most people don't know much about, and that'd be London, Ohio at Hamilton Heights. Rough game for Hamilton Heights in the first game. A 49-19 loss at Lapel, as we mentioned, and I'm going to double down on the Huskies too. I'm going to take Hamilton Heights to win this game. I do believe they're going to be quite good despite the loss against Lapel, and I am going with Caleb Small and the Huskies.
I'll take Hamilton Heights as well. I think they get it done this week. Of course, none of us are really going to know anything about New London, but when you're playing an out-of-state team, makes me want to pick the Indiana team. I'll stick with Hamilton Heights.
That's right.
I have no clue about New London other than what you posted, but I'm going to take Hamilton Heights as well. I'm buying what you're selling. Hopefully they'll get it done this week.
I'm taking the Huskies too. Caleb Small graduated, had a stellar athletic career at Hamilton Heights. They are excited to have him back. That game is at Husky Stadium, and I think the crowd will be large, and I think it will be loud, and it will be rocking, which will help them against the Ohio team. So I'm taking the Huskies.
We're going to take a quick break and talk about our 10 best games of Central Indiana, our 10 best matchups, and starting with our Central Indiana game of the week, Carmel and Westfield. Can't wait for that. Be right back. Welcome back to the High School Football Report for our Week 2 picks here with Tipton Tribune and Elwood Call Leader Sports Editor Michelle Garmon, who also has her own podcast on this network, Sports and Beyond with Michelle Garmon. I'm also joined by the Action Sports Network duo of Grant Shouse and Kevin Helfrich. And Grant Shouse, also one of our IU guys, have an IU report coming out this week talking some IU football and some IU basketball. I love when we do the double, Grant.
I love it too. this week's a good episode. Next week is when we really start getting into the meat and potatoes of things.
All right, well, let's get to our best 10 games in Central Indiana that we're going to make our picks. And game one is just a phenomenal game. Last week we had number 1 Brownsburg versus number 4 Lawrence North. And this week it is number 3 Carmel at number 2 Westfield. Both of them off very impressive wins. Carmel 47-0 over Fishers. Westfield 49-21 over Homestead. The series has gone back and forth. Last year went back and forth. The sectional game was determined in overtime. Westfield going on to win that. And I just got to kind of go with the philosophy that I'm taking Westfield till Carmel proves they beat them. Man, they were awfully impressive last week, and it's hard to doubt Kevin Wright, but Westfield, what they're doing is special too, and I'm going to take the Shamrocks, Grant.
Man, I thought about this too all week, and this is one of the first times in the show tonight I've disagreed with you. I'm going to take Carmel to knock off Westfield. I think they get revenge from their sectional loss last year.
Yep.
I like Carmel to go on the road to Westfield. I know Westfield may be a little home field advantage, but give me the Greyhounds to knock off the Shamrocks and what will be a full house there, probably close to about 5,000 people in attendance. It'll be a good one, but give me the Greyhounds.
Well, this has nothing to do with the football game itself, but my former college roommate, Tim Ferriss, is the principal at Carmel High School. Can't go against his Greyhounds. Give me the Dogs on the road.
This is a tough one for me because I think with Westville hosting, I think it gives them an edge. I think it's going to be another exciting game. And if I'm Westfield or I'm Carmel and it's even, I don't want to win the second matchup, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take Carmel. It's just, hey, Drake Kolner had a great game at safety last week. He's kind of one of the really good defenders for Carmel. Comes from a great family. So Carmel in a close one.
Ooh, I'm the lone wolf on this one, guys, and I am happy to be the lone wolf with Westfield. That kind of gets me a little excited about this week. All right, that should be fun. Really good game in Delaware County as well. Muncie Central coming off a huge 23-22 win over Delta. Yorktown, a huge win in a different way, 83-0 over Anderson. Of course, Yorktown coming over a sectional championship and just came so close to playing for a state championship last year. Muncie Central under Kyle Burrish making a lot of noise in the NCC. I think they might just win that NCC this year. The question is, can they beat a Yorktown team that's ranked 6th in the state in Class 4A? And I think the answer is no. I think this Yorktown team is legit, Grant.
I'm right there with you. I'm going to take Yorktown to win on Friday against Muncie Central.
And I'll make that 3 for Yorktown. I think they're just the better football team. Muncie Central squeaked one out on Delta. I like Yorktown.
I like Yorktown too. Give Muncie Central's coach another year, and it might be a different story next year. But this year, I just believe at this point in time, Yorktown's better.
And two of those teams that we kind of consider semi-local are Northwestern and Eastern. And that should be a really good game on Friday night. Northwestern coming off a 27-14 win over Manchester. Eastern coming off an impressive 28-27 win over Oak Hill. Two of the best quarterbacks in the area in Colin Cook and Gibson Eagle. We could see a lot of scoring in this one, and I expect it to be a game that comes down to the fourth quarter. And I think I might be a lone wolf on this one too, and I'm going to double down on going against Eastern, which I can't believe, and I am taking the Northwestern Tigers to win this game, Grant.
I agree with you in terms of I think it could be a good game. I think it could come down to a couple plays down the stretch, but give me Eastern here. I just don't think Northwestern's really proven anything to me yet. Eastern did last week late in the game against Oak Hill. That's why I'm picking the Comets.
Well, Eastern will be at home. They've got the best player on the field, Gibson Eagle. I like the way he throws that football. He's got an all-state receiver. Comets in a close one. Like you said, it's not going to be a 30-point game like last year.
Now, Eastern's also got the coach's son on the defense, kind of being the defensive leader on. So that always helps because he's like an extension of his dad. I like the Edwards family. I like Josh. I'm taking Eastern.
Guys, that's 2 out of 3. I get to be lone wolf. I'm not nearly as confident about Northwestern as I am taking Westfield and getting that point, but I like being the lone wolf, as you might have figured out.
Well, that's either a way to gain ground or lose ground, and you got to remember who you're going against.
Another absolutely fascinating game being played down in Greenwood. It is Fort Wayne Carroll at Center Grove. Fort Wayne Carroll 54-23 over Hamilton Southeastern, and that game was over fast. And we had Center Grove a 20-14 loss to Warren Central. Sagarin ratings, again, don't mean that much early in the year, and this has Carroll as a slight favorite over Center Grove. I'm not buying it. The Indianapolis teams are better than the Fort Wayne teams in the big classes right now, and I am taking Center Grove. And not only do I think Center Grove is going to win this game, I think Center Grove is going to win this game by more than a score.
I'm taking Center Grove as well. I think it'll be a close game. I think it'll be competitive. A good research fact that I need to go over is I'd like to know when Center Grove lost back-to-back games. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that they could, but they don't lose back-to-back games, especially at home, Greg. That's why I'm taking Center Grove. I think Carroll's a good team, but going on the road, Center Grove being in a more comfortable environment, give me the Trojans.
Well, I disagree with both of you. If you just look last week, I think Fort Wayne schools had the upper hand on Indianapolis area schools, and I think Carroll's for real. Give me Carroll over Center Grove. Center Grove has now lost to Warren Central the last 2 times they played, so I'm not overly impressed with Center Grove as being, one of the top teams down there. Give me Carroll.
I don't know. I think Center Grove's got some good players. Their quarterback is pretty good. They are at home. Like you, Kevin, I do think Carroll is very for real. I think it's going to be a tough matchup, but I'm going to agree with you, Graham. Center Grove doesn't lose back-to-back very often, and I think that was probably a little bit of a wake-up call. They're going to be really super hungry for a win. Center Grove in a nail-biter.
Interesting. Kevin, you want to howl?
Howl!
Kevin is the lone wolf picking the Fort Wayne Carroll Chargers and one of the best quarterbacks in the state, no doubt about that, Gabe Friesinger. Another game, 2 teams coming off losses that were ranked in the top 10 in the preseason. Both teams still, I think, have high expectations after week 1. Lawrence North took a 48-25 loss to the number 1 team in the state, Brownsburg, but they were ahead at halftime. Fishers took a 47-0 loss to Carmel. The Sagarin rating has Lawrence North by just 4 points in this game. I'm a little surprised by that. I think Lawrence North wins going away.
Yeah, I'll back you up once again, Greg. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but if you're going to be the picks champion, maybe I need to follow you and not Kevin. I'm going to take Lawrence North. They've got the most all-stars. They've got the most athletes. I like them, and I don't want to say a close one. I think it could be competitive for a half. I think Lawrence North pulls away middle of the second half and beats Fishers pretty comfortably.
Well, I agree. Lawrence North wins this one. Look for Sales to have a big game. He didn't really have much of a game, I don't think, last week in the loss to Brownsburg. I think he responds rather well this week.
Lawrence North, Sean Sales, Zaymore, they're too much for Fishers to overcome. Carmel with a new quarterback, their offense was pretty productive. Fisher's defense was non-existent. And Carmel's does not have a receiver like Sales. So I don't think it's going to be close either. Lawrence North.
Hey, guys, have I mentioned that Zaymore is my favorite player in Indiana?
I think you did last week.
I do every time we talk about it. Lawrence Central goes to Zionsville in another very interesting game. 1-0, both teams. Lawrence Central barely needed to show up. 67-20 over Jeffersonville, and that game was over by the end of the first quarter. 55 points in the first half for Lawrence Central. Jeffersonville, not good. Zionsville, a 24-6 win over a Pike team that was ravaged by transfer. So I'm not sure what that result says. But what I believe is that Lawrence Central is going to be pretty good and is maybe on the level with Center Grove and Warren Central and Ben Davis and Lawrence North. I think Lawrence Central is on that level and they win this game.
I'm going to pick Lawrence Central as well.
I think Lawrence Central have more athletes on the field. Give me Lawrence Central as well.
A little surprised by this.
Ditto or thrice or whatever that is as I follow Grant and Kevin.
I'm a little surprised that everybody was that easy taking Lawrence Central. I think Zionsville's pretty good. And our last HCC MIC crossover game is 1-0 Ben Davis coming off the big win over Center Grove, and 1-0 Avon coming off a big win over Decatur Central, 31-6. Ben Davis beat Cathedral 33-7. And I think this should be a pretty good game. I am going to take Grant's method of picking these games and go against the Cheesecake Factory and take Ben Davis.
Every time I pick against Avon, they win. I'm picking Avon.
And it seems like last year, every time I picked Avon, they lost, and every time I picked against them, they won. So give me Avon this week.
Yeah, I know Ben Davis got a nice win, but we'll let you be a lone wolf, Greg, again. I'm going to go with Avon.
Whoa. Ooh, I love it. I love it. I love the Ben Davis and Westfield Lone Wolves. I'm going to say, ooh, on that. We have East Central at New Pal, two Class 4A powerhouses. Only one of them is now in Class 5A because all they do is win, no matter what. The game is at New Pal. East Central, very impressive, 21-0 win over a very good Lawrenceburg team. New Pal, a 28-17 win over the Illinois state champion, St. Francis. And I assume it's going to be a New Pal sweep, but I do want to say this. I think this game is going to be a lot closer than people think. I think it might be within a touchdown.
I'm picking New Pal here, but I think they win rather comfortably over East Central. I know we're not, picking points on that stuff, but give me New Pal to win pretty comfortably by more than a score against East Central.
I'm going to keep the New Pal.
Kevin, I agree. I don't know that it's going to be what I would call a nail biter, but I do think it will be closer than a rout, but I will agree and make it a New Pal sweep.
Then we go to the outer part of central Indiana and an area that we haven't covered very much here yet on the Central Indiana Sports Report, but it's a good game and a state champion. 1-0 Danville at 1-0 Cascade. Danville coming off a nice 42-6 win over Ritter. Cascade keeps on rolling despite a coaching change. Connor Simmons left coaching after leading the cadets to a state championship. Now Nick Brickens, the head coach at Cascade, coaching the defending Class 2A state champions. And this game should be a pretty good one, but I think everyone here is going to probably favor Cascade. I'm taking the cadets in a close one.
I'll take Cascade as well.
Cascade for me also.
Cascade for me.
And then we finish our Central Indiana Week 2 picks with a rivalry game in Boone County. It is 0-1 Lebanon to 0-1 Western Boone. Lebanon played a really good Pendleton Heights team, took them into overtime, lost 43-42 on the last play of the game. Western Boone, a 42-20 loss to a Tri-West team that could end up being a state championship contender. So Western Boone looks like they're probably pretty good as well, but this should be Lebanon pretty easy.
I agree. I'll take Lebanon. They're a team that showed a lot of potential against a really good Pendleton Heights team last week. Western Boone has been a really good program over the years, a good kind of small school program. I would compare them a lot to Eastbrook. They matched up a couple times with Eastbrook in the state championship almost a decade ago, but they're a good program. But I think Lebanon's a better team, and they get it done on Friday.
Give me Rick Mount's Lebanon Tigers.
Yeah, Lebanon
I'll do you
Tigers.
one better. I'll do you one better. Give me Ed Schilling's Lebanon Tigers.
Nice.
I'm taking Lebanon. The two players that you guys mentioned, Kevin and Grant, I think they're basketball people. This is a football game. But I'm still going to, and I'm going to take Lebanon, so I'm not going to shout out any basketball players.
Oh, how about Craig Terrell? Boiler up. The former Lebanon Tiger NFL player. Shout out Craig Terrell. We do remember you here in Boilermaker Thank you so much to Grant, Kevin, and Michelle. Thank you so much for listening. We will be back on Monday with a Week 2 recap. Please join us. Central Indiana Sports Report is brought to you by TG Media. I love Susie.